Now comes your current events questions. At pinapaalala ko lang po sa ating mga viewers, hindi po quiz B ang labanan, hindi po siya. But of course, we're just trying to see just how well-rounded these girls are when it comes to knowing general information. All right, let us begin with Miss Quezon Province.
Hello, Joe.
Okay.
Sorry.
Here is your question, Miss Quezon Province. Okay. Some sectors have criticized the DENR for using dolomite sand in beautifying the Manila Bay. Are you in favor of this move by the DENR? Why or why not?
For me, I think there's nothing wrong with the beautification ng Manila Bay po kasi it's part of our yung ating pong bansa ang Pilipinas kasi kailangan po natin mag-innovate. So, para po mas marami, mas magaganda places na mga turista natin na makaka-visit, I think there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that people and the DNR should work hand in hand for us to be able to achieve our goal, which is to promote tourism and for us to be well known in other countries also.
Thank you, Ms. Quezon Province.
Thank you.
Let us now have Ms. Quezon City. Here's your question. Yes, Michelle. Quezon City has been turning in one of the highest COVID-19 numbers in the metro, prompting various sectors to criticize the Quezon City LGU right at the onset. Do you think that the Quezon City LGU has done enough to curb the incidence of COVID-19 cases in your city?
I'm very blessed to be able to join this pageant, not only to have a platform for me and my advocacy, but to have an opportunity to work with our local government and the whole office of Mayor Joy Belmonte, who also fought a very tough battle against this virus and who won against it. And she symbolizes the hope that a lot of people from Quezon City went through. And there was problems, there was speed bumps along the way, but she emerged victorious, and I hope that that battle can inspire our city, everybody from QC, to fight this virus, to work together, and to protect one another. Because by working together, we can overcome this virus, we can stay safe, and keep our home, keep our city safe for everybody else.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, let us now have Davao. Eliza.
Yes po.
Here's your question. Certain sectors have been pushing Mayor Sara Duterte to run as the next president, following in her father Rodrigo's footsteps. Do you think it will be beneficial for the country to have two consecutive Davaoeños as presidents?
Well, in where I come from, I've seen how effective Mayor Inday Sara is, and that's the reason why a lot of the people in Davao City has flourished in life, including mine as a farmer. And I would love to see Inday Sara Duterte as a president, regardless of which family she came from, because for me, she's a strong leader, and that's the kind of leader that I want to see in my country. And also, she's a woman, and that also in her name, it says Inday, and I support that because I believe Inday can make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davao. Let us now have Rizal.
Hello, Joey.
Yes, Ms. Rizal. Here is your question. The government recently approved an order reducing social distancing measures in public transport from 1 meter apart to only 1 seat apart to maximize the potential earnings of drivers. Are you in favor of this? So from 1 meter apart.
I am in favor. Sorry, are you not done with the question?
No, I am not. Go ahead.
I was so excited to answer.
All right, go ahead.
Joey, go ahead.
You have the floor, Ms. Rizal.
So that's the
Yes.
that's the full question.
Yes. That's a full question. From 1 meter apart, it is now 1 seat apart. Okay, are you in favor of this?
Okay, I'm actually in favor of any situation that helps our community and helps ensure safety. If we could proceed with this and ensure safety of our community as well. Why not? Because we also need to give livelihood to our drivers. They've been suffering so much, Joey. I think it's been 9 months during the lockdown, and it's been very difficult for everyone, most especially our drivers, jeepney drivers, tricycle drivers, others. And I feel like we need to decide, or we need to ensure that our community gets protected, but also, fix the livelihood of our people.
Thank you. Okay, let us now go on and call Miss Tagig.
Hello.
All right. I'm sure you'll love this question.
Yay.
Some senators have questioned the DPWH's infrastructure outlays budget for 2021, saying that these are over-allocated and propose for the money to be diverted instead to education. So from construction and infrastructure, divert that to education instead. That's what the senators are saying. What is your take on this?
Well, I really believe that right now we're having a really big problem with education, as we can all know that it's very difficult to have it online. A lot of people don't have the access, and a lot of people are struggling just to get stable internet. So I really do believe that it is important to give back to education, but at the same time, we should have a good balance of where the money actually goes and where are we putting it. And if we can do both, I think that would be the best plan for everyone. If we can do for our community, but at the same time, we can do it for the infrastructure so we can have a better livelihood for everyone. That would be the best in both worlds. And I think we can do that. So it is about time to have both.
Thank you, Mr. Gig.
Thank you.
Moving on to Makati.
Hey, Joey.
Hello, Makati. Here's your question. The government has prohibited the public from visiting cemeteries during Undas because of the COVID-19 pandemic, a move that went against Filipino Christian values and traditions. Now, do you agree with such a move?
I think it's really sad that at this time of the pandemic, we are not able to celebrate a lot of occasions, and especially like what you mentioned, visiting our beloved in the cemetery, which is prohibited by the government. And I feel like it's just right for the government to implement those protocols for the safety of everybody. And I think as long as we remind ourselves or think of our late loved ones and celebrate their lives in our minds and in our hearts in the comfort of our homes where we are safe, then I think that's a better plan. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let us now have Mandawe.
Hi, Joey.
Hello, Miss Mandawe. Love those dimples. Here is your question, Miss Mandawe. The president has criticized the Cebuanos for lacking discipline, and that is why there was a steep rise of COVID-19 cases in the province a few months back. Do you agree that Cebuanos are lacking in discipline?
I think everyone is adjusting every day to the situations that has been brought about by the pandemic. And this comment from the president that the Cebuanos lack discipline, I would have to agree on that, because there are people who have become rebellious with this situation. And I just want to remind my fellow Cebuanos that we are not done yet with flattening the curve, and we are still in the process. And we just have to keep in mind the welfare of each one of us, not just for ourselves, but also for our families. And this will have to keep on moving. We just have to keep on moving forward with flattening the curve and just focus on the goal, which is eliminating the COVID-19 entirely.
Thank you, Mandawe. You have some fans in this room. All right. Let us now move on to Pasay.
Hi, Sir Joey.
Hello, Zandra. Here is your question. The COVID-19 vaccine is expected to be available sometime next year. Will you allow yourself to be among the first to try the vaccine? Why or why not?
For me, if I would be starting to use this vaccine, I will do so. I want to take this vaccine so that I could also help our community. I could help the people, and I'm sure that when they make this vaccine, it's tested. It's been tested for how many months now, and it will be beneficial to be able to flatten the curve. Likewise, to help our economy. And why should we doubt the possibility that this vaccine is not good? We should trust the government. We should trust the people who made this and our medical team. And I'm sure that they're not going to release a vaccine if it's not in a good condition, if it's not going to be beneficial for the people. So yes, Joey, I will be taking the vaccine.
All right, that's a stand. Okay, let us now have Laguna.
Hello, Joey.
Okay, Ms. Laguna, here's your question. Students have actually started on their online schooling journey last October 5th. Do you think this kind of learning will be effective in molding young minds?
Well, Joey, my family experienced this online education of the students, and definitely it's not as easy as how we used to do it. But as long as people around the students, their family, their teachers who have been working so hard to make sure that they will be able to continue their study and learn effectively and efficiently, I know that it will be possible.
Thank you, Ms. Laguna. And finally, the last question on this current events round goes to Ms. Parañaque. Bella.
Hello again.
Yes. Here is your question. The House speakership row between Taguig Representative Alan Peter Cayetano and Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco was finally resolved this week, with Velasco finally given the House speakership. Which do you think should have been more important in this issue? Honoring the gentleman's agreement or the rule of the House majority?
In this situation, it could get quite complicated because everybody has their own opinions, everybody has their own preferences. However, in my opinion, I think a gentleman's agreement could have been best. What really matters in a situation like this one is about what we're doing, especially what the government is doing to help the Philippines flourish, especially in this time of the pandemic. We all know that there have been a lot of things compromised. There have been a lot of things that have also developed in the time being. And I think that it's about time that they have all decided. And in this case, I am happy to know that despite everything that has happened, we will now stay focused on what really matters, which is really the pandemic, on what the Philippines needs, what departments need, what kind of support they need from the government in order to help the Philippines recover from the pandemic, from the economical downfall, and from the mental difficulties that all Filipinos have been experiencing.
Thank you, Bella. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's actually smelling a crown. The sash is actually in good hands. It will be in good hands. Whoever amongst you will wear the crown and will wear the sash in the Miss Universe stage. Okay, so that done. Top 5 current events questions done. We are now moving on to the final question. Usually, there are only 3 girls.
Pinahirapan mo ako sa Q&A ko, ah.
Madali naman lang.
But I just want to clarify, guys, I'm not a DDS because I'm sure a lot of people will tag me into that if I say something or show support with the surname itself. But for me, it's not about the surname at all. It's about what the leader can do. So, yun lang naman.
Yeah. And of course, it is always best for us to see that at the very least our ladies can take a stand, can make a stand on certain issues. That's what really matters. There are no right or wrong answers naman in a pageant. Kaya lang, yun nga, you have to have conviction. You have to have a stand.
Mm-hmm.
For the final question, of course, wala tayong benefit ng di ba, ng isolation room, o kaya we cannot mute So there's only one final question for everyone. So those who will come in last may have a slight advantage, but I know that you can answer this really well. Okay, here's the final question. Parang tunog Miss Universe talaga yung tanong. Okay. What? Okay. What one specific setback in your life do you think has prepared you for the challenges of being Miss Universe Philippines? Okay. What one particular setback in your life do you think has prepared you for the challenges of being Miss Universe Philippines? Let us begin with Miss Rizal.
Wow, perfect. I love this question, Joey. You know, when I was 23, I actually got my second bankruptcy, and it was super big. I lost almost 250K. And during that time, I was still in corporate, and I still wasn't doing the things that I love doing. I was in the wrong relationships in my life. I was spending time with the wrong people. Overall, I felt like my life was going down. I feel like that was actually my lowest point in my life. And that bankruptcy and all of those things happening at the same time has taught me to actually, believe in myself that even though all of these dark things are happening, it's always possible for you to be able to reach your goal, to be bigger than your fears, to be bigger than your failures, to be bigger than your insecurities. And ever since I actually started working on my life and building myself, I've come to create a life I love living. And this is the failure that actually defined my life and created the life I love waking up to every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Rizal. Ms. Mandawe.
One particular setback that immediately come to mind is the time that I let depression take over my mind or take over my life. That was one thing that I am still continuously trying to accept and trying to learn from. And it has definitely opened my eyes to more opportunities and more things that I would have done differently, but in a better way. So for everyone who is listening and for everyone who has known me to be an advocate, I just want to remind you that we all go through the same things, just in different style or stories, and we just have to get that lesson or the power from it. And this has definitely helped me grow into the woman that a Miss Universe Philippines should be. Someone who learns how to listen to her heart, but also needs to listen to her mind and take something out of it, turn it into something important and something influential.
Thank you, Mandawe. Let us now have Laguna.
One setback that will definitely help me when I win Miss Universe Philippines was when I failed to join national pageant last year. That experience taught me that things might not work the way that we wanted or I wanted it to be, but definitely it will only allow me to learn and grow to be the person that I wanted to be. Because with that failure, it helped me to be strong, to be accepting of who I am, to be acceptance of what I don't have and what I have. And I think it is very important that we continuously build ourselves to be the best versions of ourselves.
Thank you, Laguna. Let's now have Makati.
Well, there are a lot of things in my mind right now that I really want to speak about, but I think one particular setback that I experienced in the past was when like what I said earlier, when I suffered from severe anxiety. We all know that there are a lot of mental health campaigns out there, and I once told myself I would never experience that. I would never be that girl who would even campaign for mental health because it will never happen to me. I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm good, until I got severe anxiety disorder, and it's a serious mental health illness. And I never thought I would be healed. I never thought that I would be, overcoming such, disorder. But right after that, I started accepting every negative thing that has been happening in my life. I started loving myself more. I did not fear so much about my future, and I started accepting who I am as a person. And because of that, I was able to gain a lot of confidence. I learned a lot more about myself, and that is why I chose my official hashtag in Miss Universe. It's called hashtag Iba na ang Pinay, because iba na nga talaga ang Pinay. I want to carry that to the international stage as well, that I want to show to everyone that Filipinas, no matter what backgrounds they are from, even if they're already a mom, if they are single professionals, whatever skin color, size, shape you are in, you are a phenomenal woman. And Filipinas are all multifaceted. We are all talented. We all have our own capabilities, and I just want to show that to the national pageant stage of Miss Universe Philippines na iba na ang Pinay.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Quezon Province, please.
Joey, alam mo, ang dami ko rin naiisip kung ano ba yung setback na i-share ko sa inyo. Pero one thing na sa inyo is, yung namatay yung lolo ko, na hindi ko siya naalagaan ng sobra kasi mas prioritize ko yung pagpasok sa school and whatnot. And ang dream kasi na lolo ko talaga, when I was a little kid, sabi niya sa akin, ay, gaganda pa yan. Kasi nung bata ako, maitim ako, parang wala naniniwala sa sarili ko. Kahit ako, hindi ako nagtiwala sa sarili ko. Pero siya, napaka-positive niya, nagtiwala siya sa akin. At winish niya nung birthday ko, nung 7th birthday ko, sabi niya, Nikki, I want you na sumali ka sa Miss Universe Philippines. And now, my lola's dream na nasa heaven na ngayon ay natutupad na. Lola Mars, I'm here. I'm Miss Universe Philippines. And I am reaching our goal and dream, which is to be here in Miss Universe Philippines. I am doing this not only for myself, for my fellow Quezonians, I'm also doing this for my lolo. And I may not be your Miss Universe, but I am the Miss Universe of my lolo and my family. Sorry, I get emotional.
What an emotional answer.
Love you, girl. I hope you're happy now that I am here. Love you, Lolo.
Yes.
This is for you.
I'm sure your lolo's very proud of you. In fact,
Yes.
ang feeling ko nga sinasamahan ka dyan. Hindi naman. Alright.
Joey, you're scary naman.
Pinapangiti lang kita.
Hindi ko kanina nung nasa CR
Oh
ako
my
kasi
God!
tumatay na yung TV.
Huwag kayong ganyan. Mag-isa tayo guys. Nag-blink din kanina yung light dito. When I was leaving, sabi ko, ay, bakit na Quezon City has left the room? Oh my God!
Alright, thank you, Miss Quezon
Thank
Province.
you.
Let us now have Pasay. Pasay.
So hi, Sir Joey. First of all, I had a lot of things in my mind of what are the setbacks, but I don't have a particular one. I have a lot of things going on in my mind, wherein I would say it because I lost my father at a young age. I failed at a dream job. I gave up on it. I fell in love with the wrong man, and there was so much chaos around me. And all of this particular setbacks, all of this has formed me to be who I am today. All of these experiences is something that I want to bring to the platform. Because as your Miss Universe Philippines, I want to be the person that you guys can relate to. I want to be the person that you guys can talk to. And I'm not just going to be a spokesperson. I want to be a conversationalist wherein I'm not the only one speaking. You guys can also talk. You guys can talk to us firsthand and share your experiences. Because I think as a Miss Universe, you don't just listen. You allow your people to be empowered so that they will never doubt themselves. And when they are given the voice to speak, you are sure that you have empowered that person.
Thank you, Miss Pasay. Let us now move on to Miss Davao.
Okay, are we ready?
Go, Eliza.
One setback. If there's anything about my life that is consistent, that is experiencing setbacks. And one thing that I will highlight today is nung bata pa ako, I would be so scared of reporting in front of the class. I would always score low in every reporting, not because I have nothing in my head, but because it's different. It's difficult for me to articulate in a language that I'm really not comfortable, language that I did not grow up speaking. So ngayon, magsasalita ako ng Bisaya para i-celebrate na po kung unsa ang ako ang garbo, kung asa ko gikan, o busa isa kadabaway niya, o para mahimong inspirasyon ko sa mga kababaihan na mag-speak up masking unsang lingwahe sila komportable para sa ilang mga pangarap o para madungog sila. So we all have stories to tell. That is why it's really important that we give every woman, including the language that they are comfortable with. So every Filipina story will be heard. So yun lang. Daghang salamat.
Maraming salamat sa iyo, Ms. Davao. I think that was a pretty clear message, even if she spoke in Visayan. I think what she said was no matter what language you're comfortable in, you can actually speak using that language,
Yeah.
especially when you are actually pursuing a dream, and that every woman's story should be heard. Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's what she said.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Sir Joey. Ikaw pala yung interpreter ko. Sana nagbisaya na lang ako simula pa nung ano.
Okay, na, you are doing a great job. Okay, let us now have Paranaque.
Thank you, Sir Joey.
Okay, Bella, it's your turn.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. One of the greatest setbacks that I've been through was a time right before I decided to join Miss Universe Philippines. I was surrounded by people who had different opinions about the world, about life. But the problem wasn't them. The problem was me. I decided to allow myself to alter myself according to what other people thought. I altered my choices in life. I altered my career path. I altered my decisions. And it veered me away from the person I knew I was. So one day I woke up and I realized, you know what? I'm going to be proud of myself and I'm going to go for my dream. And that was to join Miss Universe Philippines. So I'm here today because I overcame that setback. And the fact that I am here today, the fact that I am here being the authentic woman that you see before you, is exactly what I want to bring on the Miss Universe stage. I want to show everybody that a woman of a universe is somebody who knows who she is somebody who is proud of who she is, and who is somebody that never ever compromises that. That's a woman of the universe, and that's a Filipina of the universe too.
Thank you, Bella. Let us now have Quezon City, Michelle, to talk to us about your setback and how you'll use that should you win Miss Universe Philippines.
So Joey, taking time to think about this question, I just realized that so many setbacks and failures and times that I lost in life are just piling up in my head. And, I know that there is somebody right now listening who also is thinking that, is there really just one time that you lost in life? Is there really that one great setback that changed you? Isn't it all the small things, all the changes, all those losses in life that really makes you who you are today? The woman that is on your screens, the woman that will compete on the stage. And I am a product of all these failures. Being an athlete, I've lost not only on the court, but also in life. And all of those moments built me up, built my confidence, and built the woman that I am today. To speak up about these moments in life that will never last forever. But what's more important than these setbacks is really not giving up. And the decision that you make every single day to get back up and to live life and to live life to the fullest and to never give up on yourself and your dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And finally, we have Miss Taguig.
I had multiple setbacks in my life, and a lot of them have been private. But of course, there's one that's been publicly announced, is when I didn't answer the question in 2018 in Binibini, Pilipinas. But that was not the biggest setback that I've ever had. The biggest setback that I've ever had was when I was being mentally and physically abused. And instead of focusing on how I can come out of it, I was actually enduring everything and hiding it away and being ashamed of having something like that in my life. And I would always hide it with a smile because I really didn't want anyone to have that burden. But now, after working in myself and understanding that it's not healthy, you need to go and speak to people. You need to share what you have experienced. You need to share your story because
there's a lot of people that will want to hear that story. There's a lot of people that will look up to you. And that is what I'm here doing today. I am not ashamed anymore of being a victim of abuse. I'm not ashamed anymore for anything that ever happened in my life, because that is exactly where I needed to happen, to have the compassion to understand what it is like to be someone in that position. And it's a really difficult topic, but I really want to emphasize how important mental health is, because especially here in the Philippines, I have a Filipino mother, and we all have heard already maybe sometimes they say some things that are not healthy to hear. And we need to stop this. We need to stop all of this crab mentality. We need to stop having this unhealthy and unrealistic environment in our houses. That's how we can improve the situation. And that is something that I'll bring to the Miss Universe platform, I'm sure of it, because I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I see that a lot of people can relate to me and relate to my story. And now that I'm not ashamed of it, I couldn't be more free, and I'm so proud of myself for being here. Thank you.
Oh. Wonderful answers. Round of applause for all the girls for having handled all rounds of the all the interview rounds.
We can all relax na.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, relax na kami.
Part mo pala, Sir Joey, sumagot ng Q&A na nakaupo. So, Sarah on stage.
Nakaupo na lang.
Chair.
Joey, pwede ka kami magtanong isa-isa.
Resorts World Chair.
Ako yung mag-announce na tipong speaking of relaxation, because sabi niyo mas relaxed pala kapag ka nakaupo sumagot ng Q&A. O sige, when all of this is over, all of you will get an overnight stay with us. All right?
Thank you. Tonight daw. Balance for tonight, Sir Joey.
Unfortunately, tonight, di ba, you'll all have to. That has been your Miss Universe exclusive Q&A session with us here in Resorts World Manila. Thank you so much, ladies, and the best of luck to each and every one of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
So much.
Meron akong wish, ha? Kung sino man yung manalo, sana pwede ko pang ma-interview ulit virtually. Kahit virtually, pero kung pwede lang face-to-face.
Yes naman.
Sana ko nandito sa...
Basta po, Sir Joey, huwag niyo po kalimutan yung one-night stay namin.
Pwede pa. Ayoko mag-promise, pwede pa nga natin pag-usapan yung one night na yan.
Naka-record yun.
Naka-record yan. Alright, so to all our supporters, thank you for joining us. See you all soon.